Ah, July. The month everyone's so busy chasing fireworks they miss the explosions happening in silence. See, some people think time just passes, like it's neutral, like it's casual. But time, it's a messenger, a warning, a window, and this time it's about a house, not bricks and walls and shiny countertops. No, it's about a shift, a structure, something that's been prepared for you long before you even knew how to ask. Let's talk about July, shall we? Not just another summer month, not just heat waves and barbecues and calendar days floating by. No, July is a setup, a cosmic chess move, a beautifully disguised turning point for the ones who know how to watch closely. You see, when most people are relaxing, when they're clocked out and lulled to sleep by routine, that's when the shift slides in. Not with thunder, with silence. It doesn't ask for your attention, it tests for it. It wants to know if you're sharp, if your eyes are open, if you've been watching the signs, not just scrolling past them like noise. Because when everything's to feel a little off, a little lost, that's alignment disguised as disorder. That's heaven moving pieces while hell tries to keep you distracted. And July's the month where those pieces start snapping together. You can feel it in your bones, but you can't quite explain it. You tell someone and they look at you like you're crazy, but deep down you know. Something's coming, something specific, and it's tied to a place, a space, a structure that's been under construction in the background of your chaos. This isn't about luxury. This isn't about real estate. This is about position, territory, ground that has your name on it spiritually, mentally, even physically. It's about finally being planted where you were always meant to bloom, but never also to settle before now. Why July? Because July is the climax, the boiling point, the top of the roller coaster before the drop. It's where everything that felt stuck suddenly starts moving, and the problem is, most people miss it. They chalk it up to coincidence. They ignore the tension in the air. They keep looking at life through the lens of logic when what's happening is far beyond reason. But not you. You're not here by accident. You've been feeling this build up. You've been pushed to the edge of quitting more times than you'll admit, but something always held you back. That wasn't weakness, that wasn't fear, that was the pull of timing. July didn't sneak up on you, it's been calling you, whispering through detours, echoing through disappointments, that new place you keep dreaming of, that shift you can't stop obsessing over. It's real. But it's not going to arrive in a box with a bow. It's going to require something from you. Attention, sensitivity, obedience. The kind of obedience that doesn't make sense to anyone else. Because right now, while everyone's eyes are on the obvious, something hidden is breaking loose. A window's about to open, but only the focus will even notice it. You've got to stay sharp. Don't let your mind go numb. Don't drown in routine. Don't mistake silence for nothingness. The biggest moves don't happen loud, they happen when it's still. When nobody's watching, and that's the test. Can you discern when it feels like nothing's happening, but everything's about to change? You might start noticing people fading, opportunities falling apart, conversations turning strange. That's not rejection, it's redirection. It's God cleaning the room before delivering the blueprint. It's not about who claps for you. It's about who's still there when the house is finally revealed. Because this house, it's not just shelter, it's strategy. It's covering. It's placement. And only the ones with eyes wide open will recognize it for what it is. Most will walk right past it, thinking it's too small, too inconvenient, too unimpressive. But the chosen will know. Because the chosen didn't come for fancy. They came for fulfillment, for function, for fire. And here's the part no one talks about right before the house is handed over. All hell will try to convince you it's not coming, that you imagined it, that you missed it, that it's too late, that you didn't earn it. The chaos ramps up before the crown drops. It always does. The warfare isn't proof you're off track, it's proof you're dangerously close. That's why July isn't random. It's marked, circled in invisible ink. If you've been paying attention, you already know something's coming that can't be explained, only experienced. But the price of admission? Focus, not on what's loud, on what's real. What's moving beneath the noise. What's pulling at your spirit when everything around you tells you to ignore it. You ever notice how people think comfort means clarity? As if the house, the real house, the one meant for you, is gonna feel like a vacation brochure. Soft lights, big smiles, a perfect floor plan. But here's the joke, the house isn't there to pamper you. It's there to position you. It doesn't exist to wrap you in bubble wrap. No, it exists to break the illusion that purpose is painless. It's about alignment, a crash between where you are and where you were always meant to be. You can't fake alignment. You can fake peace for a while, sure, you can fake contentment. Pretend everything's just fine. But alignment, that's different. It drags you. It haunts you. It's like wearing shoes 2 sizes too small. Eventually, the squeeze makes you scream. That's when you realize the place you've been tolerating is the place you're supposed to leave. Not because it's bad, but because it's not yours anymore. And the house that is yours, it's been built to fit not the version of you that settled, but the version of you that survived. That bled, that broke, that begged, that burned and kept moving anyway. This house is built for truth, not image. It doesn't care about how good you look in front of other people. It cares about whether your soul fits inside the walls, whether your calling has enough room to breathe, whether your anointing can finally stretch without bumping into everyone else's expectations. But people miss this part. They chase the shiny houses, the loud ones, the ones everyone else seems impressed by. And then they wonder why they can't sleep at night. Why everything looks perfect on the outside but screams on the inside. That's the cost of misalignment. That's the toll you pay when you decorate the wrong house with your dreams. Alignment is disruptive. It shows up when you're almost too tired to care anymore. It kicks down the door of your routine and throws the furniture around. It demands you stop pretending. That's when you realize this shift was never meant to make you feel safe. It was meant to make you feel alive. Because that house, it won't feel familiar. It'll feel wild, free, dangerous even. Like standing on the edge of something bigger than you. That's how you know it's real. That's how you know it's God. He doesn't build houses for your ego. He builds them for your assignment, for your growth, for the version of you that finally stopped lying about what they needed. And when you start moving into that kind of house, people get nervous. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you're doing something real. You stop asking for permission. You stop shrinking to fit into rooms not made for your dimensions. You stop begging to be understood by people who were never supposed to walk this part of the hallway with you. That's what this alignment does. It filters, it shakes. It separates the ones who clap for your mask from the ones who will stand with your mission. You'll know you're getting close when you start losing things that used to feel like oxygen. People, patterns, comforts, they start falling off, and for a second you panic. You wonder if you're losing yourself. But that's the twist. You're not losing yourself. You're losing the version of you that was addicted to surviving in the wrong structure. The version that made a home out of dysfunction. That called chaos normal. That watered dead things just to have something to hold. The new house doesn't make sense to logic. It's custom. You can't Google it. Can't copy paste someone else's blueprint and expect it to hold your calling. That's why alignment feels lonely, feels risky, feels like building with bricks no one else can see. But here's the thing, if you feel it, it's because it's real. If you're being pulled, it's because something's ready. You just have to be willing to stop asking for confirmation from people who were never supposed to move in with you. This house, it's yours, not theirs. And the reason it's been quiet lately isn't because nothing's happening. It's because heaven doesn't explain construction to people who aren't on the distractions. Beautiful, shiny, loud little devils dressed as daily life. The circus of chaos we call normal. The phone buzzing like a heartbeat you didn't ask for. The scrolling, the noise, the fake smiles, the people who show up just to talk you out of what you already know deep down. You think they're friends, family, helpers, but they're just noise. Friendly, familiar noise, yes, but noise all the same. And right now, noise is the most dangerous thing you can listen to, because you're this close to something shifting. And right before it happens, life turns up the volume. Have you noticed that? Right before the breakthrough of everything gets loud. Loud problems, loud opinions, loud thoughts. It's not random. It's designed. See, the closer you get to clarity, the more chaos tries to call your name. It doesn't need to destroy you, that's too obvious. No, it just needs to distract you. Needs to tilt your attention 3 degrees to the left so you miss what was meant for your right. That's how destiny is delayed, not by destruction, but by distraction. And oh, how clever it is. It knows your flavor. It knows exactly what kind of lie to dress up in a truth you'll believe. You call it responsibility. You call it being available, being nice, being loyal. But really is fear with lipstick on. It's guilt in a mask. And every time you answer it, you miss the moment that was made just for you. That whisper you were supposed to hear in the quiet, but couldn't because you were too busy listening to the circus outside your window. They don't want you to hear it. They don't want you to see it. Because if you do, you'll stop playing their game. You'll stop needing their applause. You'll stop chasing their approval. You'll realize that attention is currency and you've been spending yours on bankrupt souls. That's what distraction does. It drains you. You don't feel it at first. You laugh. You engage, you scroll, but slowly you start to forget. Forget what you were building. Forget what you were becoming. You think you're just tired. No, you're not tired. You're tangled. Tangled in conversations that don't matter. Tangled in expectations that weren't yours to begin with. Tangled in performance. Trying to prove something to people who wouldn't understand even if you screamed it. That's why the silence feels so uncomfortable now. Because deep down your soul remembers what it's supposed to be doing. And the distractions, they're just noise layered over the sound of your own becoming. So it's decision time, isn't it? Are you going to keep dancing in the fire for claps? Or are you going to walk through it for freedom? Most people don't choose. They just drift. And that drift is expensive. It costs you the future you were designed for. Not because it's gone, but because you stopped looking for it. Distractions don't always come as temptations. Sometimes they come as duties, as good things. Helping someone who drains you. Showing up for people who never asked how you're doing. Saying yes when your whole body is screaming no. That's how you get stuck. That's how you build a life out of obligations and call it purpose. But real purpose? It's quiet. It doesn't scream. It whispers, it nudges. It says just this way when everyone else is yelling over here. And the scariest part, the distraction doesn't even need to win. It just needs to delay you. Just enough to miss the window. Just enough to make you second guess what you knew before they opened their mouths. And in that hesitation, in that pause, the door you were meant to walk through begins to close. Not because it hates you, but because destiny doesn't wait forever. It was never about being lucky. It was about being focused. About seeing through the noise. About knowing the difference between what's urgent and what's sacred. Because the ones who make it through the shift, they're not the strongest, not the smartest. They're the ones who learned how to tune out the noise, who shut the door, turned off the lights, and said no more games, no more clowns, no more crowns. Just me, the call, and the silence between. You ever notice how things seem to move the slowest right before they explode? Like time itself decides to play with you. Stretch, pause, linger. It's not late, no, it's calculating, measuring. Because what's coming can't arrive out of order, can't arrive before the players are in place, can't arrive when you're still trying to bring dead weight into a room meant for your evolution. That's the trick, isn't it? You think you're waiting, but you're really being positioned. And positioning feels like punishment when you don't understand the process. That job that didn't call you back, that person that walked out mid-sentence, that opportunity that fizzled like cheap fireworks on wet pavement, none of it was accidental. But oh, it looked like rejection. That's how the setup hides. It dresses like loss, smells like failure, sounds like silence. And meanwhile you sit there wondering what you did wrong, when all along something bigger was shifting just outside your view. See, divine timing isn't just about getting the thing. It's about being ready for it, not the version of you that smiles for photos and shakes hands. No, the version underneath all that. The one who knows what to do when no one claps. The one who still obeys when nothing makes sense, that version. That's who the shift is waiting for. And until that you shows up, the timing stays locked like a vault. Not because you're being denied, but because premature access would crush you. People don't talk about that part, the cost of early promotion, the pain of blessings unearned. It's cute to post about breakthroughs, but are you built to hold what's coming? Can you handle the weight of it? Or are you still trying to decorate the waiting room to look like the promise? That's the game most play. They build replicas of the dream just to say they have something. But it's hollow, shaky, built on urgency, not alignment. And when the real thing finally comes knocking, they've got no room left to receive it. So maybe the delay was the blessing. Maybe being skipped over was protection. Maybe that door slammed in your face because behind it was a version of success that would have buried you alive. Because let's not pretend it's not just about getting there, it's about staying there. And staying requires more than talent. It demands alignment, discernment, and timing so tight it feels like the breath of God is holding the clock still just for you. But you gotta pay attention. The shift doesn't always come wrapped in signs and symbols. Sometimes it creeps in as a random conversation, a gut feeling, a sudden urge to clean your space or cut someone off. That's alignment whispering. That's timing cracking open just enough to see if you're listening. And if you're too busy looking for fireworks, you'll miss the fuse already lit at your feet. And the people around you, oh, they'll try to keep you on their clock. Tell you to be realistic, that you're running out of time, that maybe this dream is too big, but they don't know what you saw, what you heard, what you felt when no one else was watching. That moment when everything in you screamed, it's coming even when nothing was moving. That's the part they'll never get, because they weren't invited to your revelation. So maybe the silence isn't punishment. Maybe it's preparation. Maybe heaven is holding its breath, waiting to see if you'll panic or prepare, if you'll settle or stand, if you'll chase noise or lean into the stillness. Because what's coming doesn't knock twice. And when the moment hits, when alignment and timing collide, it won't be subtle. It won't be soft. It'll be a suddenly. And only the prepared will recognize it for what it is. You think you're hidden, don't you? Playing it small, quiet, careful, walking around like you're just another face in the crowd. Like maybe if you don't cause too much trouble, life won't notice you. But it already has. Oh, it noticed the moment you were marked. The moment the blueprint for your soul was stamped with something that made the shadows twitch and heaven joyed. Because you, little spark, were never built for background noise. You were crafted to disrupt. But they got to you early, didn't they? Told you to be humble, to stay soft, to not rock the boat. Whispered rules into your ears dressed up as wisdom. Don't get too loud. Don't dream too big. Don't believe you're chosen. And you listen. Not because you were weak. No, you were surviving. Because sometimes the only way to stay alive in a world that fears the fire is to pretend you're water. But deep down you always knew you didn't fit their mold. Knew your silence was violence to your own calling. And still you played the part. You wore the mask of normal so well they almost forgot who you were. Almost. Because the thing about being chosen, it doesn't vanish just because you bury it. It doesn't die just because you pretend it was never there. No, it festers, it hums under your skin. It starts to itch at your peace and whisper in your stillness, "This isn't it," it says. "There's more," it taunts. And you can try to outrun it, try to drown it out with busyness, noise, people, plans, but eventually the truth cracks through. Loud, ugly, unrelenting. And then the shift begins. Life starts shaking loose everything you built on fear. People start leaving. Plans fall apart. The things that once brought you comfort start to suffocate. You call it bad luck, but it's not. It's the universe rearranging your stage, clearing out the extras so your spotlight stops getting blocked. You see what's been circling you, watching from the sidelines, waiting for you to wake up. It can't enter until the costume comes off, until the act ends, until the real you stops apologizing for existing. But here's the fun part: the moment you step into it, all hell panics. The people who once praised you start looking at you sideways. The ones who said "I believe in you" suddenly get quiet when you actually start moving. Funny, isn't it? They loved you as long as you were a concept, a maybe, a one day. But now that you're becoming, now that you're shedding their projections, now that your voice doesn't sound like a whisper anymore, they feel threatened. Not because you did something wrong, but because you did something right, you remembered. And now it's not about proving anything. It's about obeying the fire inside you. That dangerous divine pull that doesn't care about timing, approval, or reputation. It only cares about release, about the assignment, about showing up full and unfiltered and unapologetic. That's what scares them the most. Not your success, your alignment, because success can be manipulated. But alignment, that's untouchable. That's dangerous, that's sacred. So the tables are turning now. And the ones who doubted, they'll watch. Not because you're seeking revenge, but because transformation is the loudest silence there is. You won't need to clap back. Your elevation will do it for you. Your obedience will haunt the ones who tried to bury you in doubt. Because every step forward, every risk, every time you choose your calling over their comfort, it's a mirror. And mirrors,